All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. What's today? Monday. We're just getting the week started. I have no idea where I'm even at right now. Um, I just got back from a long week of being busy at a camp, and the week before that was crazy. But I'm excited to have some guests with me, and we're talking to some really fantastic people at the New Jersey City University, the multi-style string program. Of course, that's Martha Mooke's program, and just really, really fantastic, amazing people. What's happening, everybody?
Yo, Matt.
What's up, buddy?
Everybody, hello, everybody out in live stream land.
Hey, hey.
Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, I'm so excited that this actually came into being. The live stream with great thanks to Matt Bell and the Electric Violin Shop, who have just been incredible partners in crime for all things multi-style strings. That was a poem. I just made it up. And delighted to have some guests, artists that are going to be our featured artists at the Multi-Style String Symposium that's happening starting a week from today at New Jersey City University. And this is our 5th year doing this symposium, and each year just gets more unpredictable, grander. I know there's not enough adjectives. More multi-style, and this year is no exception. And actually, it's an exception. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. And so throughout the course of today, will be about an hour. Thank you for everybody sharing your time. There'll be information. There'll be question and answer. So if we say something that piques your interest, please do feel free to make a comment, keep it clean, ask a question. So we have some really eclectic, which is a word that I don't use often, but musicians. And I'm just gonna go around the room and introduce them, or have them introduce themselves, and then I'll put a little more overall into what they're going to be doing with us next week. So Dave Eggar is still in the car, and you can see he's got his seatbelt strapped in, so I'm not going to impose on him too much, but he will be parking shortly. He has guaranteed that he will not do any crashing other than musically speaking. So Dave and Charles Palmer, also known as Chuck Palmer, also known as Cellogram, have both been in residence at New Jersey City University for this past semester, working with the Multi-Style Strings Ensemble. And so I'm going to ask Chuck just to jump in, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you fit into the scheme of things.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, everyone. Um, I came to the program through Dave, through this past semester, sort of co-teaching a little bit, doing some handing off, and then some collaborative teaching where we actually were having so much fun and we're so excited about it, and the students were so awesome that we would, if he was going, and I would just go too, you know. And so then through that, we sort of said, wow, this sort of collaborative co-teaching is really fun, and it seems to be bringing some special experiences, maybe special benefits, special learning, even for the students. And so I'm really, really excited to be continuing that here coming up next week. And in terms of well, the project that Dave and I have is called Cellogram, and it really, in my humble opinion, I think it really encompasses and champions this idea of multi-style. We're both performers, Dave on multiple instruments. My main instrument is actually the drum set, but through the drum set and in no small way, the drum set often is presented as a multi-style instrument, even. And I think this program is so brilliant because I think that concept of looking at things from that perspective of different genres and different styles, different cultures, different languages, different musics, different approaches. That way, that can really do a lot to serve expanding one's own career in music, whether it be saying yes to things that you might not have said yes to, and then found out that you're good at it, or that you really enjoy it, or that you start to do it. And so, a big part of my experience coming from the drums has been meeting Dave in the studio at Chung King Studio in 2008, I think, around then. And I was playing drums on a track. He was doing string arranging and recording strings and producing strings, really, for an artist. And we met, and we just had one of those moments, and we just started working together on so many different ways. We do a live project where I'd play cajon or I'd play drums, and Dave's playing cello, sometimes piano, singing, vocals. I'll write a song. I might sing a thing. I'm mixing the strings. We're producing them. We're writing arrangements. We're doing bigger records, orchestral records. We're producing groups, doing rock tracks. We're doing, I guess, what we would call world music, for a very lack of a better term. But sometimes, like this multi-style experience, you start to borrow ideas and maybe subconscious influences. You don't even know why you had this idea. Or we go to Jamaica, but would we record something is sort of reggae, but it has the rock thing, and now Dave put some classical music on it. We're like, what are we doing? And it's fun, and people love it, and we love it. And so, yeah, Cellogram is an incredible project to be a part of. And yeah, like I said, I'm mostly a drummer, but I've sort of taken that instrument almost and explored the multi styles of that instrument. And now I conduct orchestras with the group Foreigner, who Dave and I did the orchestral arrangements for in 2018, starting then. And now we continue. Got some shows coming up. I am playing drums this week at Brooklyn Bowl, and just played Montreal Jazz Fest with RJD2. So I'm playing drums, but then I'm also playing some MPC with him, playing some keyboards, because you gotta say yes. You gotta expand and keep it moving. You can still keep your focus on that instrument. So anyway, that's what I try and do. Try and play as much drums as I can and say yes to everything I can.
Awesome. And you're going to bring all that gear with you, right? Next week.
Everything. Yeah. I'll take the path train.
So it's multi-style strings, but we understood from this, at least this past semester, that multi-style strings doesn't necessarily mean only strings. We had incorporated in the ensemble this semester, we had a singer-songwriter, guitar player, dancer, bass player, and who knows what else we've had bagpipes in previous years too. So I'm gonna throw it over to Arun, who is we're excited to work together for the first time, but he has an amazing backstory. I'm just gonna let him talk.
Thanks, Martha. Yep. How's everybody doing? My name is Arun Ramamurthy. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up right in New Jersey. My family is from South India. So I started playing the violin.
I don't want to interrupt you here, Arun. If we can get you to turn up a little bit, that would be helpful.
Yeah, how about I just come a little closer right now? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, I'll even talk a little bit louder. So I grew up in New Jersey, and my folks came from India in 1970, from South India. And I started playing the violin when I was about 8 years old. And I started playing Western classical violin, actually. But I was learning South Indian classical Carnatic music as well. And I started learning vocal music first. Indian classical music is an oral tradition. It's taught by ear, and it's taught without any music in front of you. There are systems of notation in Indian classical music, but when you're learning from your teacher, it is one-on-one, it is direct, and it's right through your ear. They do it, you do it. So I was learning vocal music from when I was like 6. And that allowed me to kind of understand the language of Indian classical music And when I started playing Carnatic violin when I was 10, I was able to kind of translate things that I had learned vocally directly onto my instrument pretty easily. And just a quick background, I guess, because you're probably wondering, well, the violin in Indian music, is that an Indian instrument? It seems like it's not so much. Well, this violin is exactly the same violin that you would have always seen. The only difference is the way I tune the instrument. And it's all based on a solfege system. You know, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We have sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. So we pick our tonic, though. And our tonic can be anything we want. If I'm a vocalist, I can pick a tonic that is G or C or something that fits my range. Carnatic violin is often tuned to D, which we call sa. So I might have a scale. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. Sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So then from there we can ornament notes. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. Sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, ga, sa. So then now we have ways of moving between the notes. The relationship between the notes is always kind of connected. And the violin, being fretless, being bowed, is actually a perfect instrument to kind of imitate the human voice, which is the goal of most Indian classical instruments. So, you know, I grew up playing Carnatic music really primarily through my teen years. I did play Western classical music. I was in orchestras, the New Jersey State Youth Orchestra, amongst a few other smaller orchestras in the area. And about when I was 18, I made a decision, you know what, I think I want to focus on Carnatic music. And I did that because it's so heavily improvised. I love the idea of improvising. I love the idea of expressing myself through my instrument. So, you know, I really took a deep dive into Indian music. I went to India to study. I lived there for a year in my guru's house. And, you know, I used to play 10 hours a day, literally, during those time periods. And for that 1 year, I really went deep. And when I came back, I had this idea and this desire and need to kind of connect my worlds. You know, I grew up Indian American. I grew up in New Jersey to Indian parents. So I had both of these worlds inside of me. And I was trying to find a way to connect the dots. So I started collaborating and meeting musicians in New York City, which is filled with amazing, curious, talented, creative musicians. And I started to open up, and I started to open up my own voice, my own way of playing, learning from other people on a regular basis, and kind of trying to cultivate a style that's uniquely me, that's uniquely, you know, my blend of Carnatic music and the world. So that's where I am now. I'm making music that makes me very happy. I have my own trio, which is kind of bringing together Indian classical music and jazz, which is violin, electric bass, and drums. I have a project with my wife, who is an incredible, versatile violinist named Trina Basu, and we have a duo project where we write, and that kind of leans more towards chamber, like kind of contemporary classical music, but it's also very, very heavily improvised. And I work with a Malian kora player named Yakuba Sissoko. I work with Roman Diaz and Melvis Santa, amazing Cuban musicians. I work with Amir El Safar, a great trumpet player who plays Iraqi makam. So makam is another beautiful tradition. All these languages, right, improvised languages, can speak to each other regardless of where you're from. And that's my favorite part about music.
So can't even imagine where we're going to take this next week. Can you play a little bit for us, Arun?
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to play a raga. I'm going to improvise something. I'll sing it to you first, just the names of the notes. So I'll give you the notes too. So D, there's no second interval. So it's D, D, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. But on the way down, there's no B, no sixth. D, C, A, G, F sharp, D. can't see my fingers.
Thank you.
Hi,
Dave,
everybody.
and just a picture. Take it away, Dave Eggar.
Hi, how's it going? I finally parked my car. I was trying to figure out how to play cello, but I lost the sound, so I might send a video later. But first of all, I wanted to say I love that intro of the electric violin shop. That was just wonderful. And I can't wait to, hopefully you have some electric cellos also, and I can partake of those. Can you all hear me okay? Is my volume all right? Beautiful. So, Arun, that was so beautiful. And I've had the incredible experience of working with Arun many times. And I think that he can't say it, but I can say it. He's definitely like the absolute, my absolute favorite Carnatic player that I've ever heard, an incredible genius. And it's taught me a tremendous amount about melodic improvisation and the contour of melodic improvisation. I just wanted to say that I'm really, really excited about the symposium because I feel that there's something so important about this multi-stylistic position. I think that typically string programs have come very strongly from one position or another. They'll either be very European classical, or at ETSU here in Tennessee, where I am a lot of the time, it's a bluegrass program that's very, trad oriented. But this idea that there isn't a hierarchical space to string tradition, that you can actually come as you are, whether you're an Irish fiddler, whether you play Carnatic, whether you play newgrass or old time or classical European in an old style or contemporary classical, like I think it's a very powerful and unique structure, Martha, that you've built here that's given us a lot of freedom and a sense of belonging that's powerful. And I think one of the things I really want to look at in the symposium is how you bring all the sides of yourself together and kind of these really fundamental aspects of like improvisation, interpretation, rhythm, harmony, and melody that kind of unify all of us as players. Chuck and I have worked with a massive diversity of collaborators. We've arranged strings with everyone from like Frank Ocean's Channel Orange to, gosh, like Louis Capaldi, Esperanza Spalding, Foreigner, as he mentioned, and Ed Sheeran, and gosh, it's just so many people. And it's taught us so much about how we can bring all these traditions to a whole new world. We have a very exciting new song out this summer, which is a duet of Norah Jones and John Legend, which we're really excited about. And that's been an incredible journey. And also with Norah, a connection back into Indian classical music, even though she doesn't always want to admit it. But every time you play more like a Carnatic player, she likes it better than European. So we'll just let that slide. I'm so honored and thrilled to be part of this with all of you. And I think that we're going to be really looking not only at playing styles, but also at application. Like, how do you bring who you are to today's music environment? Like, how do you, we're all in so many contexts. Like, I go in any given week from playing Mozart to playing classical Indian music to playing a contemporary original piece to working with Taylor Swift. So we all wear a lot of hats. And how do you do that and preserve the authenticity of yourself is something that's really, really interesting to me personally. So I'm so thrilled, and it's going to be awesome next week. I'm excited.
Yay. I'm excited that we're all going to be in the same time zone at the same time. So Matt, are you, can you can you post the flyer that has the information? Just kind of, so, yeah. So there's a few different events going on. So it's the 3-day, starting on Monday. Each day is around 10 to 4, 10 to 5 or 6, depends how carried away we get. For teachers, just so you know, you can get professional development credit. So that is something that is very good for your professional endeavors. But we also have a combination of players of all different styles, of all different levels. There's students that are coming in, some from the West Coast. And we also have support from some very generous sponsors, including Yamaha and the Chamber Music Association for Chamber Music Players are so just impassioned by this kind of work and getting people together to play for the love of playing. And so we're really grateful for all of them. We have folks coming from Jamaica, the country of, and local people from Jersey City and from other areas of Jersey. And each year it's the combination of people coming from all these different places with the different backgrounds and different experiences that form who they are, that just make it so incredible. And I know that Chuck and Dave have a lot of things up their sleeves. They're going to be with us for all 3 days, leading workshops, coachings, and who knows, writing. One never knows where it's going to lead to, and that's the beauty of improvisation, where you get a sense of who's in the room and what the possibilities are. So a lot of the times it's not just what you are bringing in, but where it can go to. And that's the magic of the multi-style string program and the symposium. And then on the third day, on the Wednesday, we end the whole program with a grand finale concert with everybody involved, all the artists and all the participants. And again, that can go to places where on Monday we have no idea where it could go to. Also, we have another special guest, and I'm going to let Dave Eggar talk a little bit about that, because it's a little bit, as the whole agenda is, it's a little bit outside of the realm of what you would think of as traditional string playing. So Dave.
Thank you so much. So yes, a friend of mine who's going to be in New York is going to come through. He's actually a professional MMA fighter. And I study martial arts my whole life. I've done karate for a really long time. I have a couple of black belts in karate, and I've done sort of like K1 style, kickboxing, fighting, Muay Thai. And one of the things that I think is really important is sort of how you kind of prepare yourself for performance. As a string player, we're doing a lot of very complex micro athletics. And I know especially in classical European music, performance anxiety becomes a really strong thing, especially with auditions and especially with orchestra auditions being on the palette. So during COVID, when there wasn't a lot going on, I started fight training a lot with Len, and I was really, really inspired by how aspects of how he thinks mentally in terms of fight theory and fight preparation actually could really empower your athletics as a string player and also sort of your timing and other aspects of your creativity. He's going to stop through on Tuesday, and we're going to do a little workshop that looks at kind of a few things. On an external level, it's going to look a little bit at like timing and reactivity and presence and awareness. And on an internal level, it'll kind of look at sort of like the quality of your thoughts. Like when you're going into performance, like what are the thoughts that you're talking to? Are you mostly talking to thoughts about doubt? Are you talking to thoughts about confidence? How do you kind of override sort of your own sort of weaknesses? And then also kind of how do you prepare for challenges? So we're going to do kind of a short seminar from our Composing a Champion program that kind of looks at some of these things. And also we'll kind of get you on your feet doing some fun, very light exercises. No one's punching anyone in the face unless they want to. No, I'm just kidding. But I actually find these to be very powerful strategies. I play a lot of extremely difficult technical music in the classical European sector, and I'm constantly faced with sort of needing to walk on stage as a soloist and have to have a whole lot of difficult technical things in front of me. And so it's been very powerful to use sort of the internal aspect of fight theory to conquer some of my own insecurities and spaces around this. So I'm really, really excited for that as well, which I think is on Tuesday.
We actually have a
Yeah.
comment here from Lourdes saying that she highly recommends. Lourdes is here. Hey, Lourdes.
Oh, hey, how are you?
And
Lourdes is
I'm
amazing.
always
Talk about
surprised. I'm always surprised how many string players are involved in martial arts, and how much it really, there is a lot of crossover between the way you think about martial arts and the way you think about improvisation. That's an amazing idea that would not have occurred to me. I love that.
Well, even Miles Davis was a boxer and Miles Davis talks a lot about boxing and timing. So there is some really interesting, like, you know, so in fact, one of the reasons I started training with Len in the first place was because the rhythm of his sparring was so complex. And then I realized all he listens to is things like Slipknot that has like really complicated drums and Tool and stuff like that. So it wasn't surprising. I was like, no wonder he's like doing crazy syncopations all over the place. So.
I'm already thinking about another improvisational collaboration with Len too. So this is what happens when you get the creative juices flowing. You never quite know. I'm going to change the channel just for a second because besides the playing, so everybody's bringing their instruments. There'll be music. There'll be a lot of not printed music, but explorations of music. And there's also going to be electric strings, have some instruments available. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Those of you that know me, besides knowing that I match my wardrobe with my instrument and my studio, and oh yeah, and my Grammy Award. You know, so this is my my newest acquisition, and this is made by Yamaha. This is a YEV Pro, and it's got 5 strings. And if I was to play it without, where I have to find my bow. But what happens, you can't see it because it's at my feet, but I will have all the gear, and we'll have opportunities for people to experiment with different electronics, different effects processors, so reverb and delay, and sounds like, I'm just gonna pop it up a little bit. And the magic of, so the, if you tend to see guitar players or bass players that have pedal boards in front of them, and they always have all these little gadgets, and they make incredible sounds. And it goes to a whole other level when string players get a hold of these gadgets. And because of the extra sense of articulation and playing with the bow, and playing, for example, I might just sit down and pluck one note and see what happens. And there's a whole rhythm that happens there. If I play 2 notes, that gives me a whole other idea of maybe, I don't know, icy rain hitting the roof. But if I play the same thing with my bow, it sounds totally different. Maybe it's the, and then that, if I loop it, That's another piece of equipment that I have that we'll explore. So that's another. Somebody asked me what is the essence of multi-style strings, and it's really more of a philosophy. I think having the time to and in the space to turn out the lights, turn on some vibey lights, especially turn off the fluorescent lights, sit on the floor, go into a whole other realm and try something that you've never tried before because you don't know how it's going to sound. So these same notes, they're lovely notes. When I kick in some of the, it just brings me into a whole other space. So we'll get into that sort of the collaboration of using electronics and having that be a sort of writing partner as well, as the fact that yes, you can turn it louder, but you can also, it's one of my favorite. And that's just playing one note. So we'll see. And when that's in combination with other instruments and other ideas, that's beyond where even my imagination can go to.
I mean, one of the things, first of all, Martha, that was so awesome. And I feel like I have so much to learn from you, but also like one of the things about the symposium that I think is really powerful is in an era where there's been like a tremendous amount of kind of over specialization in the string space. It's really realizing that all of these are part of our toolkit. Like technology is part of our toolkit. Historical European music is part of our toolkit. Carnatic music is part of our toolkit. I've played a lot of Persian music in my life. Like that's a lot of our part of our toolkit. And really coming together as a community of string players and finding a way to, or like bluegrass, old time, to kind of see the similarities more than the differences. Like to begin to look at ways that we can all kind of work together as string composers, I think is really, really, really powerful. And I think we will be doing, myself and Chuck, I think we'll be doing a decent amount of teamwork based projects, kind of like we did in the ensemble class at NJCU this semester. So we'll be doing some really fun ways that we're kind of making it. And there will be a final concert, right, Martha, I believe, on the final day.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit more about that.
So the finale, we do this every year, and it's very much of the moment. It's consists of things that we've gone through in the workshop, and yet it goes to another space in terms of the collaboration between those of us on this Zoom today and everybody else that's in the room, including the audience. So I believe the time is at 6 o'clock, and it's going to take place at New Jersey City University in Hepburn Hall in the Gothic Lounge that's on the second floor. And it will be a combination of planned and unplanned. And I guarantee there's going to be some surprises in there as well. So, and Arun, I don't know. What do you think? Can we plug you in? Do you use effects? Have you worked with electronics?
Yeah, I am just kind of exploring and getting into the world of pedals myself. I'm actually plugged in right now. I have a pickup going here. I have the Shirtler, which is kind of like a nice little pickup that goes right in here. And I just have a reverb and a delay pedal that I've been messing around with. A looper is next on my list because it's very fun to just build on top of one idea. And it's a lot like when I improvise. Very often it starts with one idea, and then that one idea becomes the topic sentence of my paragraph, and then I have details, little things that come after it that are related, and that's how I can connect the dots. So with the looper, I love the idea of starting with an idea and having that idea kind of stay while I build on top of it. And so that's probably going to be the next thing I do. But I do play, with a lot of like reverbs, like the same thing that I have with, now I'm just putting a little delay on. I don't know if you're hearing it as well. And I love the idea that when I have a looper, right now that's all just delays, right? And those delays will end up fading away. They're fading away right now. I can't hear them. But once I can keep that going, playing on top of that will be a lot of fun. So, in traditional Carnatic music and Indian classical music, the idea of pedals and electronics don't exist, right? But, I am kind of much more of a contemporary thinker and an artist within the tradition. And I loved a lot of what everybody was saying, really about, Dave was saying something about kind of just like improvisation and meeting other people at their place. And I feel like that's a big part of what I love about music and what I try to do on a regular basis is really about learning about other styles of music. I don't think there's anything that could be more humbling or more beautiful than stepping inside the shoes of another musician who's a master or maybe not even a master. And I've learned from students because I didn't know that style of music before, and for me, I'm a forever student. I will be a student for the rest of my life. And, my gurus, actually, that's a lesson he taught me when I was 10. He was being interviewed for a newspaper, and they asked him, "Sir, when did you feel like you mastered the instrument and you didn't have to learn anymore?" And he was like, "What do you mean? I'm still learning. I'm still a student." And here he is, a 55-year-old master, really. And I thought of him that way, but he doesn't think of himself that way, and that's why he keeps growing. So, for me, it's so important and it's beautiful, and I'm so excited to meet and be with all of you, where I can learn from each one of you and hopefully walk away a little happier, a little fuller.
Yeah, I see Dave is armed. Take it away, Dave.
I do have a cello with me now. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm not sure I have anything exciting to add on the cello.
Make sure that your audio is set for live.
Yeah, let's see what's going on here.
So this is a thing that we learned from Zoom, is you have to go into the audio settings and make sure that
No, I think I just want to say, like, Arun, like, I really love working with you because one of the things that is so important is we over focus on the hyper exotification of style. And so there's a weird way right now where style is often taught like a spice that goes into a menu, and the way that, people learn bluegrass as like a spice. And the thing that's powerful is when different vernaculars can talk to each other. Like every time I've improvised with you, Arun, I've never felt like I'm not talking to somebody in a language that I understand. I don't necessarily, but I feel like that idea that we can converse cross stylistically is how we all grow the most, because we all do a lot of the same things. I used to not be a bluegrass player, and then I've been surrounded by bluegrass for a really long time in a way that, it's funny, like one of my most important mentors of my life was Michael Brecker, who I toured with, the famous jazz saxophone player. And when I was first touring with him, he said something very powerful. He said, when you improvise, tell your story. You don't have jazz stories yet. Soon you'll have jazz stories. He became my mentor. He passed away. Now I have very powerful jazz stories. But he was right. At that age, when I was 24 or whenever when I met him, I mostly had contemporary classical stories. So you shouldn't be ashamed of the stories that you come from. You should share those stories. And as they cross-pollinate with other stories, your vocabulary will grow. And suddenly you'll find yourself doing all sorts of things that you never really imagined. So I'm going to actually have to check out for a second because my bluegrass band is actually, we're doing a tour of shows with orchestras this weekend. So we have a meeting with the conductor right now, Bristol Lightning. It's really exciting. We're doing a whole Irish show with, talk about multi-style. So Pat Mangan, who's a fiddle player from Riverdance for many years, is joining us for this Celtic celebration tour that we're doing with bluegrass and Celtic music. So I may have to peace out, but I'm so honored and I can't wait for next week. This is going to be so great, you guys. Awesome.
Thanks, Dave. That is, Dave is a moving target always. Where is Dave now? I just want to thank you all. I think we covered a lot of territory in a sort of short amount of time, and I hope that it's inspired whoever has been listening to this this live stream to come check out the workshop. If you're a player of any skill level, join in. If you're in the neighborhood of Jersey City, the concert is free, so please do come by. The information, we'll have it more posted and keep, we have a multi-style strings Facebook page, as well as I'm going to ask Matt if he can share some of the information on the electric violin shop page. And again, the biggest thank you for helping us get the word out. String playing is one of the oldest professions. It's not the oldest, but it's one of the oldest. And so it evolves. It has been evolving, but getting it to evolve into the 21st century and beyond has taken a little more passion than I ever anticipated. And I have grown so much as an artist from having been involved in this world and being involved and collaborating with people that I have maybe nothing in common with, but learn from. So I can keep talking all day long, but hopefully you'll come and you'll follow along, follow our sounds. Everybody's got social media. I'm going to ask Matt if you've got any 2 cents to join in. You've got lots of resources on the electric violin shop, so if you could put a plug in there, because that, whenever anybody asks me about where do I get gear, where do I get instruments, where do I get information, I always send them to electric violin shop, because it's owned and operated by players. So and they're the best at what they do.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, as you can see, we've got a lot of toys here, and there's this is just one wall in the place. So we've kind of found a niche market, and we've hired the very best people in that niche. So we talk to players like Martha and just all the fantastic players that have come through your program, Martha. We talk to those people all the time. We're always continuing to try to learn more and more things about this, working with manufacturers to make better and better products, working with artists to find out what their needs are and how can we help manufacturers develop products that are going to fit those needs. And just we're super excited about the small part that we're playing in the advancement of this art. So I love the fact that you're doing stuff like this. Let people know, how can people find you to register for this?
Sorry. Let me give you the exact link. There should be a QR code as well. We'll post it on the on all the sites, so you'll be able to find it. But if you Google NJCU multi-style string symposium, it'll bring you right to the site. We'll pop up the all the different links that you need.
Perfect.
And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being part of this. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's been great.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Yes.
See you all next week.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, maybe.